Blog Talk Radio.
Across the country and around the world, streaming live on the internet, it's Real Estate Coaching Radio, bringing you the latest news, interviews, and secrets of the top producers. Hosted by award-winning real estate coaches, Tim and Julie Harris.
Welcome back to Real Estate Coaching Radio. Of course, we're your hosts, Tim and Julie Harris. Julie, say hello to everyone who's listening.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the call.
First of all, I want to acknowledge all of you and frankly, humbly thank all of you for helping make our radio show a huge success. As a lot of you know, we've started this a couple months ago, actually a little bit less than that, and we're already getting thousands of listeners. And I know for a fact it's from all of you sharing our radio show with all of your other realtor compatriots. And I really, really appreciate that. And I really love the fact that it's resonating with so many of you. So many of you are really, I think, listening to what we're saying, understanding that what we're doing is really focusing on what's best for you as the individual practitioner, embracing maybe in some cases a lot of the controversial subjects and topics and the ways we approach this industry, and putting them into action into your real estate business. Guys, at the end of the day, you are entrepreneurs. You are business owners. Once you get good at this business, yes, you're salespeople, but you have to be an entrepreneur. You have to be a business owner. Once you get good at this business, those skills are really applicable to anything else you want to possibly do. So never lose sight of the fact that if you're going to be successful in the real estate business as a realtor, you have to be a business person and you have to be a kick-butt salesperson, and we're here to help you do both. So, again, a sincere thank you to all of you who have helped us to make this radio show such a success. And please, please, please continue to spread the word. Help us help others. Really at the end of the day, we are a very, very agent coaching-centric coaching company. As far as I know, we're the only ones that are. Pretty much all of our competitors, as it were, and yes, we're talking about competition, something you guys need to embrace, because competition, the reality of it in life is you are competing. So, the fact is that pretty much everybody else that we compete with, and, when you look at the other coaches that are out there, they're not agent-centric. They're broker-centric. They're maybe have a hidden agenda about getting you to do one thing or the other. What we do is we focus on what's best for you. You make your business plan around what we know to be best practices, and that's what we coach you to do. And our decisions, our coaching is always specifically geared towards what's best for you, the individual agent. Not what's best for your broker, not what's best for your brand or your office manager, but what is best for you. Julie, I have been receiving a lot of free coaching call requests. Some of the things I've also heard from some of my private coaching clients. A lot of the agents struggle this time of year with mindset. I'm getting a lot of interesting questions from agents who are really feeling maybe a little, overwhelmed, I suppose, because they're realizing that what we've been sort of preparing them for is actually happening. The snow's melting, the flowers are starting to bloom, and the opportunities are coming at them fast and furious. That's overwhelming. But the other thing I'm hearing is from agents who did not prepare last year, did not have a business plan going into this year, and don't know how to take advantage of this ever-increasingly improving market, and they're feeling overwhelmed as well. And so, opposed to giving them a practical step-by-step mini business plan, which of course they can get from our, if they're coaching students, just follow the 90-day massive action plan that we give you guys. But specifically what this all revolves around is your mindset. What's really going on between your ears? What you're allowing to influence your thinking and ultimately the results that you're getting. So, Julie, I know you can definitely relate to today's radio show. We talked about this prior to the show today. Can you share with them an experience that you've had with one of your private advanced or breakthrough coaching clients that really, really came down to maybe they were approaching the call with you with the idea that they had a lead generation problem, but it turned out it was indeed a mindset issue?
Right. I just had a call with a great agent up in northern Wisconsin, which comes with its own set of challenges this time of year. She said that they've had the worst winter since 1880 or something like that in terms of both cold and snow. And so she's basically in the snowy, dark tundra. And I told her, well, I understand that being from the Midwest. We talked about that for a second. And yet she actually, she did 20-some deals last year with half of them were listings. And so her premise was wanting to have more lead generation, but also a time management issue. And it's interesting how many times she said on the call, I'm overwhelmed, I'm working like a dog, And I believe her that there are days when she feels overwhelmed, but we talked about the mindset change, that when you are overwhelmed, it means that you face a lot of opportunity. So we talked about what the alternative would be. Would you rather be not overwhelmed, which would mean you have no money coming in? So it was a recalibration, and I often have calls with newer clients of ours where they will come to the call talking about, I'm overwhelmed, I don't know that I can handle any more business if I had it. The amount of times they're saying that to themselves on the call, it's almost like negative affirmation after negative affirmation, which keeps them spinning in that zone versus moving forward and creating what we call a nice problem to have, which is more business, more success, et cetera. So I think it's one of those like chicken or the egg types of things, where is the reason that you don't have consistent cash flow because you keep telling yourself you're overwhelmed, and yet you want more lead generation so you can get back into being overwhelmed. It is about 95% mindset, I believe. But go ahead.
Well, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, isn't it? So
exactly.
what we're focusing on today, what we're focusing on today's radio show are 5 specific things you guys can do to get your head screwed on straight, and so you can take advantage of the opportunities that are still ahead of you. I know that this spring market is going to be in many ways volcanic. It's going to be so powerful. It's going to be incredible. It's going to be overwhelming. So what I want you guys to do is open your minds up to the fact that you have all the opportunities ahead of you, but you got to make sure that you are of the mindset to take advantage of them. And we're going to give you 5 specific points that you can do right now to, frankly, get in control of your mindset as much as it can be controlled. We want you to get in control of your mindset. You know what, Julie, while you were giving your example, I actually had an interesting call the other day with one of my coaching students that I personally had in my schedule for 2 or 3 years. And he has this tendency to go off the rails occasionally, stop doing what he was supposed to be doing in the first place that worked for him in the past to make him successful. And this is a guy that does consistently, $400,000 or $500,000 a year in revenue. And so his challenge is that he has this tendency to start listening to gloom and doom, to start becoming a what do they call it? Not the survivalists, but the preppers, right? Seriously.
Yeah.
So this is a guy that goes down the prepper gloom and doom path, and I'm not going to talk about any of that. We're not being political. I'm not talking about any of that, Mickey Mouse. I'm not bringing that to any of our radio shows. What I'm focusing on is this guy in particular, when he started listening to the ultra right-wing stuff, when he started reading that crap on Facebook, when he started – I just said crap, so I kind of gave my opinion on it, didn't I? But when he started basically when he started to slip and go down that slippery slope, he all of a sudden would find it to be a self-fulfilling prophecy for him. What do I mean? Well, so he was absorbing all this information on how the world in some variety is coming to an end, and how, the president was going to take all of his guns, and how everyone is going to be living in caves and all this da-da-da-da-da-da. So what he would do is he started slowly with taking small bite-sized chomps at that, and then he would start consuming the information. Now, here's the interesting thing. What he was doing through his consuming of that kind of negativity is he was making it true. Okay, what do I mean by that? So he's addicted to basically this doom and gloom stuff, and a lot of people are. It happened after September 11th. And people basically got addicted to watching the news. That is when really the news cycles changed. I remember Wolf Blitzer and his breaking news thing. You guys, no one knew who Wolf Blitzer was until after September 11th. And then he started, oh, my God, Wolf's on the TV. We got to watch. Well, some people literally got addicted to that and have never been able to break that cycle for that little chemical charge. So when we get that little bit of information, when we get that little piece of gossip, or the what's going on over in the Soviet Union, or what's going on down in wherever, that little spark you get addicted to. You actually physically have a chemical reaction to that. So he started listening to all that prepper stuff back about a decade ago, and that prepper stuff, essentially, if you buy into it, your belief essentially is going to be that you're going to be living in some sort of fortified house with your firearms, basically protecting yourself from zombies. I mean, I think that's pretty much what it is. So he actually believes that, and he doesn't believe it. It's more like a hobby for him. But when he starts having that mindset, what does he stop doing? He stops making money. He stops doing the things that make him money. So he actually makes his world reflect what his dominant thoughts have become. You guys following me on this? And it happens slowly with him. He'll start reading Facebook posts, then he'll start watching this news channel, then he'll start reading that. And then sooner or later, he just wakes up one day, he has no closings, he has no money coming in, all because of essentially he lost control of his mindset. The things you think about the most, guys, are the things that you will manifest in your life. And the scary part is, oftentimes the things that we think about the most, they are not the thoughts that we would choose to have had we been conscientious about the thoughts we're allowing to enter into our minds. So that is the focus of today's radio show. We're going to give you 5 very specific points that you can do to control your mindset. And really, even in a tiny little microscopic way, if we can allow some of you to wake up and realize that, you can control the results of the experiences you have in your life, assuming you learn to control the thoughts that you dominate most of your day. So we're going to get to those points in less than 2 minutes when we come back from this quick commercial break.
Is coaching right for you? And how can I guarantee it will work for me? Chances are you are asking yourself those questions right now. I'll answer those critical questions for you in just a moment. But first, let's be honest about something you may have always suspected. You've probably always known that the nation's top 1% of realtors, those millionaire agents you see on TV, they possess a secret knowledge that the other 99% of agents do not have. Where did they learn what they know? And more importantly, how did they learn how to put this closely guarded information into money-making action? It's simple. They have a coach. Not just any coach. The nation's mega millions, top 1% of the realtors know that in order to maintain their almost unfair advantage, that they must have their own personal coach. A proven, market-tested coach who has truly walked in their shoes. A coach who has worked with many of the nation's leading agents. At this point, you're probably ready to maybe try coaching. However, you don't want to be unfairly locked into a long-term ball and chain that coaching contracts can give you. It just makes sense that you should be able to try it before you buy it. Even more importantly, you want to have a coach who is the best of the best, not someone who is simply assigned to you or, even worse, has never sold real estate. Can you imagine? If this is you, I have something for you right now that is exactly what you have been looking for. For the next 48 hours, Tim and Julie Harris Real Estate Coaching is offering you a free coaching call. This is a real coaching call with a real Tim and Julie Harris coach. Now, while you are thinking about it, why don't you visit us online at freecoachingcallsforagents.com to get started. Once again, that is freecoachingcallsforagents.com. Now, let's be clear. This exclusive coaching opportunity is only available for the first 50 realtors who are stone cold serious about their real estate business and know that in order to succeed at the highest level, they must hire a coach. So don't wait any longer. Take action now and visit us again at freecoachingcallsforagents.com to schedule your free coaching call. Again, that's freecoachingcallsforagents.com. Thanks so much. See y'all soon.
Okay, we're back. I apologize. I forgot to hit my unmute button. So we're going to be focusing now on the 5 points that I wrote down in regards to controlling your mindset. And the first point I wrote down, and this is the exact point that I gave the homework assignment to the coaching client I was just telling you about that was having an issue with this mindset, and that point is have a media-free life. In other words, I want you to go completely cold turkey on all forms of media. That's radio, that's TV, except our radio show, obviously. That's TV. That's newspaper. That's the stuff that you read on the Internet. That's essentially a lot of the stuff that you're reading in your email. Anything and everything that could adversely affect your mindset, I want you to completely filter. Literally. Act like it was 1872 and you're living out on the prairie and the only news you get is from the riding horseman delivering your mail once a month. Completely tune out the world and just focus on the next 4 points that we're going to give you. Media free is, for many people, painful because you become addicted to the media. You become addicted to the, oh my God, what's happening? I don't want to miss it. So for those of you who think you're going to miss something important, trust me when I tell you that if anything really important happens, somebody will tell you. Go completely media free. Try it for a half a day. Try it for a day. Yes, that means I want you to put your flippin' mobile devices away and stop checking your email incessantly. Anything that shows up in your email can wait. That means I don't want you necessarily going and reading the newspaper. Don't watch TV, especially MSNBC or especially Fox News. Don't watch them. It's all propaganda designed to manipulate your mindset. Take back control, and the first thing you need to do to take back control of your mindset is stop allowing other people to input their thinking into your head. Does that make sense, Julie, knowing that we have 4 other points?
Yeah, absolutely it does. I mean, that point alone, if they get good at this, will make a huge impact.
Yeah, that's it. All right, next point that I wrote down is have daily minimum standards. Now, your daily minimum standards are going to be different than mine, for example, or Julie's, or one of our coaching students. But the daily minimum standards that all of you have to have are going to revolve around basically the things that are going to put money in your pocket the fastest. You don't have to have a list of 20 daily minimum standards because you won't do them. 3 to maybe 5 daily minimum standards is all you need. So, for example, you need to be doing something where you're going to increase your heart rate by at least 50% of your resting heart rate for at least 15 minutes a day. That's a fact. So if your resting heart rate is 60 beats per minute or 80, whatever it is, you need to be increasing it by 50% for at least 15 minutes a day. That's it. You do that, you're going to feel better, you're going to have great energy, and you're obviously taking care of your body. You need to do things like, these are just random ideas, right? You need to be showing gratitude towards at least 5 people per day. Showing gratitude would be a quick email saying thank you. Showing gratitude would be sending a birthday wishes. By the way, Julie and I's birthdays are both next week. Showing gratitude would be sending your favorite radio show host lavish gifts. We accept those. Cash donation, airfare
just to get started. Just to break the ice, they could do that. Yeah.
Exactly. But, so another minimum standard, obviously, is going to be the number of contacts you need to be making per day. Another minimum standard would be setting a listing appointment or 2 listing appointments per day. So these are the types of things that we can work on establishing your daily minimum standards, assuming you're ready for a free coaching call. And, again, go to freecoachingcallsforagents.com. The next point I wrote down was clear goals designed around your financial freedom, not real estate Mickey Mouse. I have had many, many calls with people that are new to our coaching business who have been in other coaching organizations before or were coached or trained by somebody else, maybe through their brokerage or whatnot. And they, when I ask them what their goals are, will always say things like sell 50 houses, sell 100 houses, sell 25 houses. And so that baffles me because then I think to myself, how is that actually a goal that's serving your needs, your specific so tell me the thinking behind it. And the logic goes like this. Well, last year I sold 20 houses, and this year I want to sell, 40, or whatever their answer is. Okay, so why? And then you start peeling back the layers of the onion, and you quickly realize that these people do not have, and it's okay to have existed to this point in your life making this mistake. It's not okay to continue existing for the rest of your life, continuing to make this mistake. You are in business to make a profit. Your goal of your real estate practice as a business owner is to make a profit. Some of you, I'm not being condescending. I know you don't know what I'm talking about. Request a free coaching call and we'll help you. The point of it is you have to be making a profit. We're going to show you how to do that. You have to be selling enough homes that are profitable so you can start peeling off a certain percent that goes into a savings account, takes care of debt retirement, takes care of all your other financial needs, and then the profit then is also used to invest so that one day you can be rich. What's the definition of rich, someone might ask? Very simple. Bill Cosby, by the way, said this. Rich is when your money is working for you and you no longer have to work for your money. Rich is when your money is worth. Okay, so Tim, I'm going to form Coach Julie, I'm going to form a real estate team. Won't that be essentially the definition of rich? No. Your definition of rich is when the money is working totally for you. So that would be a paid-off rental property. That would be some other business that you invest in that you have nothing to do other than being an investor in it that's paying you a dividend. It could be all kinds of different things, but the point of it is get to the point where you wake up every single day and you have enough money coming in passively that if you chose to, you wouldn't have to sell a single house for the rest of your life. You will never become financially free, which is the definition of rich, from selling homes. Be clear on that. You will become financially free from the profits you make from selling homes. And if you don't make any profits and yet you sold 100 houses and you have nothing to show for it, then you basically have only just spent your life energy to move a bunch of money around, to sell a bunch of houses, to get a bunch of awards for no damn good reason. Does that make sense, everyone? Julie, do you have any input here?
No, absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. So on to the next one.
So the last 2 points I'm going to combine for the sake of time. The first one is keep yourself learning and avoid complacency. And the final point I wrote down was get into action. So, Julie, when we say learning, how critical is that? Because you're a big learning person. You're taking a French lesson thing right now. You're taking piano lessons. You know, you're always learning. That's something that's really important to you. From a brain development perspective, let alone from a business perspective, why is it important that we're always learning?
I think if you can prevent mental stagnation, it affects everything else that you do. You've got to be learning and moving forward. Otherwise, it's like you're slowly dying, to me anyway. I know that everything else that I do is better if I am controlling what I do put in my brain and it's something that I want to have in there versus just sort of being a sponge and whatever happens to be on the TV somehow, sponges in. So I think it's critical, in life, yes, that's why I do things like my French vocabulary on my iPad, but certainly in real estate, I worry the most about agents that say, oh, I already know how to do that. I know everything there is about short sales because I took a 2-minute seminar. What? Even if you did at that point, even if it was possible to know everything at that second, everything changes all the time anyway. So to not be upgrading everything in your life all the time, to me, is moving backwards.
That's right. And, another great thing to read, there's a great book. I always suggest this to all my own private clients, and you guys should get this too. It's called Profits Aren't Everything, They're the Only Thing. Write that down. Profits aren't everything, they're the only thing. You can get it on Amazon. You can get it as an audio download. You can buy the book. Profits aren't everything, they're the only thing. Man, that is just such core good advice. And yet it's something that is never taught to real estate practitioners. Get your head screwed on.
Not even mentioned, generally.
No, I know. It is true. When you go to a real estate convention, there will be nobody talking about how to actually make a profit. They'll be talking about the latest market gizmo, their latest internet website gizmo, the latest, gimmick, the latest silver bullet. That's what agents love. Something that's going to somehow, magically make it so that I don't have to do X anymore. Guys, that stuff is all just silly. The reason that you're in this business is to make a profit. The way you make a profit is by selling homes, yes, keeping your expenses under control, yes, but the way you make a profit ultimately is your mindset, a profit-focused mindset. You want to make it so after 12 months when you're looking back at your past year, you have clearly definable, absolutely visual things that you've accomplished. A rental property or 10 that you've purchased, a debt or debts you've paid off, a paid-off house. You want to have things that you've actually shown for it, money in the bank, not just enough to, basically keep the wolves away, $20,000, which seems like to be the common amount of money that coaching clients, new ones, have saved. I'm talking about having enough money saved that if you decided to take a year off, you could, a couple $100,000 at least. That's where life gets interesting when you start creating that sense of freedom. You guys did not get into the real estate business to get awards and plaques and whatnot. Somewhere along the lines, it gets perverted. Our dreams, our goals, we get distracted. We start believing that you have to do all this silly crap in the real estate business, and you actually lose contact with yourself. You basically start believing and buying into the hype that is the real estate industry. Get your head screwed on straight and realize your job, your product, Your point is to make a profit, and with those profits you reinvest and you become financially free, and financially free is rich. That's what it is. It's not 100 houses or $10 million. It's whatever you need to create so that you have enough passive income coming in so you don't have to work anymore if you choose to, okay? Now, the last point, again, was getting into action. That's the hardest thing to do when you're not, basically when you're feeling overwhelmed, is to get into action. So, Julie, when you have people that are having issues getting into action, taking, say, for example, becoming media-free or setting the minimum standards, the easiest answer for that, how to get into action, obviously, is request a free coaching call. Our free coaching call is for agents.com. But, Julie, if you were on a free coaching call right now and you got a sense that someone didn't know how to get into action, what would you tell them?
I'm going to ask them what one thing would make a huge difference to how they were operating right now. And usually they'll say, well, I'm not sure, maybe something nebulous, like get control of my time, whatever it may be. But I always ask them, how much better would you feel if you had one new commission check coming in between now and 7 days from now? That pretty much solves most mindset issues, and the answer to how to create that is to take action. So I sort of cut through, and I honestly, I originally got that from our broker, Rory, who would go storming through the office and say, are you guys having a rough day? Go take a listing. That's it. It's right. Simple coaching, but it does require you to put one foot in front of the other. And I oftentimes will start with something simple like get through 100% of your lead follow-up because that's where you're most likely to set an appointment. But it's all about taking action. One thing, just one step to break the ice and to change that negative momentum.
Going to a seminar, or even listening to our radio show today, because I know a lot of you are feeling motivated. We're good at what we do. We've earned the right to say we're good at what we do. That is not the same as getting into action. So don't be confused. Even listening, digesting, totally consuming, and loving what you're hearing right now, which hopefully thousands of you are, it is not the same as getting into action. Getting into action only happens when you get off your butts and you go out there with the intention of helping other people. Start with a mindset of service. When you start with a mindset of service, everything else more or less falls in place. The mindset of service is the profit mindset. The mindset of service is the mindset that rich people have. If you don't have the mindset of making other people's lives better, you never will produce a product, in this case, home sold listings, that people will want to do business with. They won't engage with you unless your primary intention is making their lives better. Hopefully that makes sense to all of you. And again, I'm going to say this again, free coaching calls for agents.com. Please, 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 if you're an existing student and you want a private coaching call and you're not in one of our private coaching programs, that's where you go. Or if you're not in any of our coaching programs, but you're ready to become a Tim and Julie Harris Real Estate Coaching client, go to freecoachingcallsforagents.com, and Julie and I will do everything we can in our power to get you on track, get you unstuck, and get you back to the point where you can move forward in your business. So that is all we have for you today. You guys have a fantastic weekend, and thanks for your time. And please, your homework is help us spread the word. Have a wonderful weekend.
This program has been a presentation by Tim and Julie Harris, Real Estate Coaching. For more information on our real estate coaching and training programs, visit our website at timandjulieharris.com. Remember to tune in weekdays at noon for upcoming shows. And until next time, thank you for listening to Real Estate Coaching Radio with Tim and Julie Harris.